Good morning, this is Kelland on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you begin your day.
A 21-year-old Sioux Falls man is behind bars charged with robbery. Early Sunday morning, police say the man went into a central Sioux Falls gas station with a baseball bat.
Investigators say the clerk told him to leave the bat outside. He allegedly ignored her and took things from the store without paying.
He didn't say anything about directly threatening her, didn't swing the bat or anything like that. So in this case, the clerk was in fear that she thought he may swing the bat at her. So that's why we have the robbery charge.
Police were able to use surveillance video to identify and arrest Tristan Anderson. Along with robbery, he also faces a drug charge after officers found meth on him. He's also on active parole. A new court hearing is scheduled in Pierre this week for former South Dakota legislative candidate Joel Koskin.
Court documents say there's probable cause that he committed rape, aggravated incest, and sexual contact with a child under 16. A judge recently rejected a plea agreement in the case. Meanwhile, he is to be arraigned on alternate charges today. Brookings police have arrested 2 men following separate sexual assault cases involving children over the weekend. The first was reported on Saturday. 34-year-old Meyer Lanzano Garrido was arrested for sexual contact with a child under 16. He's currently in the Brookings County Jail on a $15,000 cash bond.
The second case was reported on Sunday. 60-year-old Anthony Caldwell was arrested for sexual contact with a child under 16 and 4th-degree rape. He's being held in the Brookings County Jail on a $25,000 cash bond. Hundreds of thousands of people across the country are victims of sexual assault, including in Pennington County.
The sheriff's office reported 422 cases last year alone. The department wants people to know there is help out there.
We want them to know there are resources out there through Working Against Violence, through the Sheriff's Office Victim Specialist Program. There's resources available to victims in Pennington County, and we encourage you to take that first step. We know it's difficult, but once you get past that, we will do everything in our power to help you walk through this process.
April is Sexual Assault Awareness Month.
Now let's send it over to meteorologist Scott Mont for a check of our warm weather. Dare we say hot today, right, Scott?
Oh, yeah, you could say that. You know, temperatures well above average, numbers into the low, middle 80s, pushing 90 for some of us in south central South Dakota. At 92 in Valentine, 87 in Winter, 84 in Sioux Falls, 86 in Yankton. You know what? Temperatures will be a little warmer in southeastern South Dakota, Iowa, and parts of southwestern Minnesota for tomorrow. Aberdeen will be cooler, 58 today. We'll have a high of 80 in Rapid City. We'll keep an eye on the record books just in case today, but I do think we'll have a better chance to see those records fall in southeastern Kettleland tomorrow. More details on your forecast with Brian coming up.
Thank you, Scott. Check out how the Big Sioux River in Del Rapids looked yesterday morning. While this part had rushing water, another section close by was considerably calmer.
And while one part was relatively free of ice, another section, as you see here, certainly wasn't. Minnehaha County Emergency Manager Jason Gearman says the outlook is good to avoid heavy flooding in the area, provided there isn't a ton of rain in the future. Although there's been a lot of melting going on, it wasn't melting fast enough for the Millbank High School track team.
So they rounded up some volunteers and shoveled, scooped, and snowblowed the entire track. Till now, they had to run where they could.
We were inside in the gym, in the hallways in the school. A little bit, you know, the distance runners were able to go outside a little bit, but that was kind of even minimal because the roads weren't even that great.
They started scooping the snow at 2 o'clock on Friday and were done by 5, quitting time. As discussions continue regarding gymnastics and the potential for it being cut by the Sioux Falls School District, many against the plan are speaking out. Bree Kepke is a junior at Jefferson High School and competes in gymnastics.
She wishes there were more meetings and conversations between the school board and students and their families regarding the proposed changes.
I feel like as a student, I haven't heard much communication from the board or anything. It's all just been kind of hidden away, and just finding out through friends and family is just, I want to be told in person that my sport is getting taken away, not heard as a rumor.
We also have a correction to the story we brought you last night regarding powerlifting and how it could also be cut from the budget. In an email from the Sioux Falls School District public relations member after we reported the sport could be cut. They clarified and said that's not the case. You can read that full email attached to the story on KELOLAND.com. And last week, we announced our 5 finalists for Girls KELOLAND All-Star Player of the Year. And each day this week, we'll introduce you to our 5 boys nominees. Our first finalist for Player of the Year is Damon Wilkinson. The 6'10" senior averaged double-double with 22 points and 13 boards per game.
Wilkinson became the focal point for DeSmet following the graduation of several talented players last year, and he was still able to lead the Bulldogs to a 3rd straight state championship. Despite that success in DeSmet, his coach thinks there's more to come.
He's got a lot of untapped potential yet, I think. I think when he gets to SDSU that they'll bring the rest of that out of him. And I'm so happy for him that he's getting that opportunity to get up there and play. And and he made that opportunity for himself just by sticking it out this year and just keep on working hard and getting a little bit better.
Wilkinson and the Bulldogs finished 23-3 on their way to a state title. You can learn how a hunting accident helped Wilkinson both on and off the court with this story here on KELOLAND.com.
That was a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, our weather update today, well, south winds and a drying forecast. I think overall very much a way above the averages. In fact, near record levels for some locations. Sioux Falls will be at about 84 today, and these 80s will be common. I would even go above some of the leading data there for the South Central. We easily could be close to 85 to 90 degrees in South Central KELOLAND. Aberdeen, you'll be in the upper 50s today, but we're looking into tonight and tomorrow. And I think much the same story in the southeast, a very warm forecast. Now, you do see Aberdeen is down a little bit, and that north wind will make the difference there. Even Pierre and Rapid City, not as warm. It'll be mainly in the upper 60s to near 70. As you look at the maps here, we see that boundary coming in tomorrow. See that little front there? Now, that probably won't quite get to Sioux Falls. So if it goes back to the north as a warm front on Thursday, that'll open up the door to one more really warm day in the southeast, and then we'll bring in some rain chances after that. Maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder with that front on Friday. And, at this point, not all bad news there. This isn't looking to be a major rain, but certainly a quarter to a half an inch would be a starting ground. I could argue there could be some areas of southern Minnesota, northern Iowa that could be a little heavier than that. And then the north wind kind of takes over. It's a cooler weekend, a little more April-like. That's kind of par for the course this time of year. What's next after that? Well, I think overall a stable pattern, and we'll take early next week. We'll find some middle ground on these temperatures. Today, 87 in Mitchell. Prepare for that. We're looking at highs near 92 in Valentine. We'll wrap things up on your 7-day forecast. And by Friday, we're down to 64 in Sioux Falls. Low 50s this weekend. Overnight lows are back in the 30s. As well. Now, Aberdeen in the northeast, we're going to turn to the 40s tomorrow. We'll stay there. I think that's kind of where we're going here into the weekend, low to mid 40s. Rain chances, especially Friday, would be the best chance of the bunch. And then getting into Pierre, also a chance of some showers. The percentage is not as high as Aberdeen or Sioux Falls. There will be some moisture around. We have more to track on the details of this developing front, but for now we're going to also trend that direction in Rapid City. But it is cooler. It's down to 47 on Friday. Check out more details on your weather at KELOLAND.com.